And here in Lloydminster, it's one of the busiest weeks of the year with the Lloyd X Fair taking place. The Lloydminster Rotary Club got to see what the Lloyd X has in store this week for the fair. Now, starting on Wednesday, anyone is welcome to attend the fair and participate in different activities with rides, a parade, and even a petting zoo. The Lloyd X is ready to leave an impact on the border city.
As you saw when you pulled in the parking lot, we have all the fair rides setting up. We have our outdoor trade vendors setting up. There's a hive of activity happening around the grounds, getting everything set for fair. We have pig racing, so we haven't had that in a number of years. We have on Thursday night a Filipino concert with Rachel Alejandro. We're very excited about her coming. Friday night we have the Tom Cochran concert, so that's a much bigger name than we would normally bring in for fair time, so we're very excited.
Now the Lloyd X is kicking off with its parade Wednesday morning and ending with a fireworks show on Saturday night.
There's a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of entertainment to be booked and then planned out. There's things like power. That's always a big concern, right? You have to get all the power around. You know, we have to do layouts. We spend a lot of time trying to figure out exactly the right layout so that everyone is comfortable and safe. Safety is a huge thing at our fairs. We want our patrons to be very safe and have all our medical emergency people can have access if there is an emergency, which we hope that never happens, but we just want everyone to be safe, have a good time, have our own little 4 days at Disneyland, and send everybody home with good memories.
Now, pre-admission tickets will be available for sale at the Lloyd Mall until tomorrow, so make sure you get out and get those tickets. Should be a great weekend. And now it's time for us to take a look into the archives in this week's edition of Retrospect. With the Lloyd X Fair taking place this week, we turn back the clocks to see the fair's economic impact on the local economy in 1994.
Money changing hands and more money changing hands. Upwards of 35,000 people are expected to invade Lloydminster for the 90th edition of Colonial Days, a tremendous economic boost on the local economy.
Anytime that we can have a major event, a major tourism event like Colonial Days in the community, it's a substantial economic impact for the businesses and community.
Local businesses such as hotels and cafeterias reap the benefits of events such as Colonial Days. One local businessman is already seeing the effects of the influx of people in the border city and is expecting even more business in the next couple of days, which he welcomes.
But I can see my late night and stuff like that being pretty good. So I think, you know, with more people in town and more people hitting the nightclubs at night, you know, I might do a little better then. So I think I will do a little better with more people in town.
While some businesses boom during the 4-day event, for others, the economic implications the fair brings to the city doesn't affect them.
So it's not the economic thing one would think right first hand?
No, that's right. It's pretty much business as usual.
Right now, it's not business as usual at the Lloydminster Exhibition Grounds as people with pockets full of money continue to spend it and help parts of the local economy.
If you take the multiplier that's quite often used, I believe, which is around $63 per person for a day visit, and multiply that by 35,000 people, that can generate quite a bit of economic impact for a community.
And in 1998, a Wainwright woman voices her concerns regarding a dog bylaw.
I mean, this is just not fair.
Betty Primer just moved to the Wainwright area. She is upset with a bylaw that requires a muzzle be placed on her dog.
Our concerns with our dog is the fact that we have to walk her with a muzzle. She's considered a dangerous animal, a vicious animal, and she's only 4 months old. How could she possibly be vicious? She hasn't done anything.
What are you doing? Yeah!
Meet the pooch behind the controversy. Mandy is a 4-month-old Rottweiler, and she is treated like one of the family.
Yo, I love her. She sleeps with me too.
Such dogs have a reputation of being a threat. However, Betty feels the bylaw is too severe.
Yes, their bite is a mean bite. But how many times has it happened here? Not once. Not once has it happened here.
The town of Wainwright sees things differently. Their town council took a proactive measure with the bylaw back in '96 in order to protect the general public. Wes Croning, development officer for the town, says the bylaw was necessary in order to prevent possible attacks before they happen. But Betty thinks the muzzles have the opposite effect.
With a muzzle, I would instantly think this dog is dangerous if I seen someone else with a dog with a muzzle on it.
It's like people, everybody has their own temperament. Historically, the breed was bred to be aggressive. However, with proper puppy techniques, raising, socialization skills, they can become a very kind dog also.
Oh, we love her right to pieces. She is our pet. We love her.
Betty has started up a petition in hopes of changing parts of the bylaw. She plans on taking it to council in 2 weeks' time.
We think a lot of people would like them if they just had the opportunity to get to meet one, personally meet one.
And this has been our look at This Week in Retrospect.
Retrospect this week is brought to you by Webb's Ford. Worth your while to drive the extra mile. Webb's Ford in Vermilion.
Now, we've been lucky enough to experience the summer heat for a couple of weeks, but with activities including the Lloyd X Fair coming up, people will be outside for longer periods of time. Now, there are a few items you should bring with you when heading out into the heat and sun to avoid burning or heat stroke.
I think if you're able to carry some sort of hydration, preferably water is probably best along with you in case you come into thirst. If you're able to take along with you a hat, some sort of shade mechanism if you're unable to find shade, that is also helpful. And then sunscreen is also important to prevent burns and UV radiation issues coming on.
Now, sunscreen is extremely important in preventing sunburn. Having the right level of SPF for your skin tone and how easily you burn is different for everyone, but still vital when spending long hours in the sun.
You're looking at SPF, typically 30 is a good starting point, and you can go as high as 50, 60. Beyond that, there's not a lot of incremental value added. The big thing with sunscreen is it's important to continue to reapply. It does wear off over time, and you do lose some of the protection that's associated as time goes on, and it's increased if you're doing water sports or if you're becoming wet or sweaty. The sunscreen does lose its efficacy, so it's important to diligently reapply throughout the day as well.
Now, sun exposure isn't the only thing to look out for. Heat, regardless of if there is some cloud coverage, can cause heat exhaustion or heat stroke. Looking out for those signs and how your body is feeling can help prevent these too from happening.
If you start to get a headache, if you start to feel extreme thirst, I mean, in the worst case scenario, you start to faint, vomit, these types of things. It's a very severe thing, so you need to seek some first aid and most likely some care as well. I think the big thing is listen to your body. If you start to feel thirst, if you start to feel overheated, find some shade, get out of the sun, get out of the heat where possible.
And as we move to sports now, the Lloydminster Extreme played their final home game of the regular season this past Sunday. Here's our Thomas Wildman with more.
After beating the division-leading Lakeland Heat at the beginning of the weekend, they next had to take on the Westlock Rock. Midway through the first period, after the Extreme had a goal disallowed, leading scorer Jaden Plamaudin would score. The Extreme would get 2 more in the first, while the Rock only scored once. In the second period, the Extreme took complete control, scoring 7 more goals. With 4 more to finish off the third, the Extreme had a commanding win of 14-4, and the team is ready to bring this into their final 2 games.
Keep rolling. We're playing well. Defense is really strong, and our offense, once it starts rolling, nobody can stop it. So,
head coach Graham Murray is happy with the growth this team has made and thinks they are ready for the playoffs.
Defensively, we have come a very, very long way. We got 2 kids that come up from the midget team too that help immensely as well. I can't say enough good things about Alex and Brady. It was nice to see Alex get his first goal tonight. But yeah, just team defense has been outstanding the last probably month or so, and it's really made a difference for us. And defense leads to transition, and transition leads to offense. So
Captain Jared Fisher says the team is pumped up for the final few games of the season and, of course, the playoffs.
Yeah, we're all pumped up. We're all ready to go. We've had good, hard practices, and yeah, we're ready.
Thomas Wildman, Primetime, local news.
And it's time for us to check in once again with Shelby Clark for another look at weather.
Thanks so much again there, Mr. Jace Mackey. Yes, now taking an extended look at your weather forecast. We'll be starting off with our central zone of the provinces. And on the Alberta side, we have cooled down just like what we are seeing here in the border city with some, sitting around 17 to 18 degrees. But then the rest are just sitting at that 20-degree mark or warmer. We have 20 degrees in Edmonton, while there's 23 in Whitecourt, and over in Jasper, still starting off strong there at 25. So Jasper is seeing the nicest condition on our Alberta side. Going over to our Saskatchewan side, they are looking slightly warmer compared to our Alberta side, as most spots are just seeing past that 20-degree mark. 20 over in Melfort, while there's 21 in both Meadow Lake and Prince Albert, also matching up here with Cold Lake. And then we have 22 for North Battleford and Saskatoon, as they are seeing the nicest conditions on our Saskatchewan side. So we have cooled down slightly from what we have been seeing last week, starting off this new week already, but it's nice to catch that break, start off on a cooler point, and then we will start to slowly warm up, and that'll be perfect for all the outdoor activities we got coming up here in the border city. Okay, going over to our northern zone on our Saskatchewan side, they have cooled down as well, slowly cooling down just underneath that 20-degree mark. Most spots are just sitting at 20 degrees with Stony Rapids, La Loche, and Buffalo Narrows, and then we start to cool down from there. 18 for both South End and Uranium City, while we're just hitting 19 down in Flin Flon, and the coolest is 17 degrees over there in Wollaston Lake. Going back over to Alberta's side here, they are still looking quite warm already starting off this new week. Some spots have cooled down, especially with High Level and Slave Lake at 14 and 17, so they are even sitting at those mid-teen temperatures. And then the rest start to warm up from there, and they're still kind of matching those same conditions as what we saw last week. 20 degrees up in Fort Chipewyan, while there's 23 down in Fort McMurray, and then the warmest conditions is 26 for both Grand Prairie and Peace River, as they are even seeing closer to that 30-degree mark. So most of these areas are kind of seeing a switch up in these conditions, as some are looking quite warm and others are looking quite cool. Going over to our southern zone, they haven't cooled down at all as we start off this new week. They are seeing some scorchers, so they have that heat warning in place, especially down here with Lethbridge and Medicine Hat. 26 in Lethbridge, while it's 32 in Medicine Hat. So Medicine Hat is seeing quite a scorcher already starting off for today, and they're seeing that kind of continue on even through their evening. 25 degrees seems to be the most popular temperature in most of these other spots with Calgary, Banff, and Coronation, so they are still seeing quite warm conditions as we start off this new week. And going over to our Saskatchewan side to kind of check them out in our southern zone, they aren't seeing as warm conditions as what we are looking at on our Alberta side, but they are still seeing those mid-20s for the most part. 25 in Kindersley, while there's 23, 24 in most spots on our Saskatchewan side, and Regina and Yorkton are looking slightly cooler, but still just hitting that 20-degree mark and seeing 22 now in Regina. But now as you look at some overnight evening lows on this list in our surrounding area, we are going to be seeing kind of a switch up in these temperatures for our evening lows. Most spots are expecting those single digits with a low at 7 to 9 degrees. In Meadow Lake, Bonnyville, and Paradise Hill, and then Provost and Isla Crosse are expecting those double digits with a low of 10 and a low of 11. So we aren't seeing too cool of conditions for tonight. It's still quite a warm night. Most spots are expecting more of a clear and calm night, while Provost is seeing a high chance of some showers later on in the evening. Looking at our hourly forecast for our Tuesday in the border city for tomorrow, we will slightly warm up from what we saw today. We're already starting off in those teens with around 18 to 19 degrees in the afternoon. And then for our daytime high at our mid-afternoon, we will be hitting that 21, 22 degree mark. So we are slowly warming up a little bit more as we go on through the week, as we head into our Lloyd X Fair week and the parade. Because once we hit that, exactly, hopefully everybody heard Jace wooing there. As we hit Wednesday, we will be seeing that 24th, a mixture of some sun and clouds, so mostly sunny, which is a beautiful condition to start off the Lloyd X Fair and of course the parade. So please make sure you got your water and the sunscreen prepared. You're going to be needing it. And we will even warm up a little bit more on Thursday as we continue on through the week. And we will be hitting those mid-20s for the rest of it as we go into the weekend and starting off next week on next Monday. That's all I have for now. Our Jace Mackey will have our news coming up after the break. Joining us today for primetime local news is classic Peter Quinlan, global news meteorologist. Thank you so much for joining us again today, Peter.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Shelby.
Of course, no problem. I know we spoke very recently, just on the weather forecast for the summer, talking about some of this extreme heat and whatnot, with a lot of these wildfires and just kind of what we could expect. But we wanted to speak with you again because, of course, we have our Lloyd X Fair and the parade that's going to be coming ahead for this week. So we really wanted to speak again to you and kind of get your expertise on what we could expect for the week.
Yeah, so it looks like as soon as we move into the middle of the week on Wednesday, we're going to see a slight chance of a sprinkle, but really sunshine is going to be the dominant force of the day. Those temperatures are going to soar into those mid-20s. And then as we work our way in toward the end of the week, Thursday could be a little sunnier, also a little warmer, around 25 degrees. Friday looks like it could be a mix of sun and cloud, 22 degrees. Saturday, 23, mix of sun and cloud again. So really it's just that slight chance of sprinkles on Wednesday afternoon. And I don't think that'll be too bad of a situation. Probably not the heaviest of downpours. So we're actually looking at pretty perfect conditions, not too hot, not too cold, because I know when you're down on the grounds, it can be a little bit warmer.
And that's really good to hear, actually. I know, like, for Wednesday, it will be officially starting. We have the parade starting off right off in the morning, and that'll kind of kick off the Lloyd X Fair. So would you say that the sprinkle won't be really ruining anything for the day?
No, it'll likely be brief if we see it at all. So it's just a slight chance in the afternoon anyways, and it'll probably be around peak heating time, so it might just help you cool off a little bit.
And what would you say for, just doing all these activities for the parade and the Lloyd X Fair with having like this kind of mixture of weather condition wise of just like maybe having some strong heat and then having a little bit of break in between that people can do to kind of stay safe out there?
Yeah, so even though we're talking about a high around 25, for example, on Thursday, when you're down at the grounds, there's, of course, the asphalt on the ground. It does sometimes radiate and make it feel a little bit warmer. And we measure the temperature at the airport, for instance, 2 meters in the air. So sometimes it's a little warmer closer to that warm, darker colored ground. So to stay cool, stay hydrated, stay well hydrated with water, that is. Sometimes people choose other beverages of choice, which isn't always the best option. But go into the cooler indoor pavilions, air-conditioned spaces, take lots of breaks in those spaces, and they always have lots of things like ice cream and slushies at the fair. So those are options to cool down. Sometimes they have misting stations, so seek those out, especially if you're going to be outside for an extended period of time.
Well, that's perfect. I think it sounds like it's going to be a great week, weather condition wise, especially for all the fun activities that's going to be happening here in the border city. Now, after this week, you would say for the July month, can you expect we're going to probably be warming up after this week a little bit more?
Yeah, it does look like we're going to see a pretty big warm up into early next week, maybe up toward those upper 20s or even low 30s. That's still a ways away, so we'll keep our eye on that, but it looks like we'll get into kind of the mid to upper 20-degree range as we work our way toward the end of the month. August, potential for that to be a hot one as well. So it's definitely going to be a warm summer altogether. We're expecting above average temperatures. Average this time of year is 23 for a high in Lloydminster, and we are coming off a pretty warm June as well, so it's been quite the trend. We had the third warmest June on record, actually, with temperatures 3 degrees warmer than normal in Lloydminster, but it was actually a wetter than normal June with 172% of the normal moisture. So in terms of those things, I think it'll end up being a warmer and drier than normal summer, July and August. So that's what we've got to look forward to.
Oh, perfect. Well, once again, it's always really nice speaking with you, Peter, and having you on here. We really want to be able to, like I said, get your expertise and kind of warn us of what we could expect for the week, but I think it's going to be a great week for us Border City residents.
Yes, absolutely. Enjoy the fair. Thanks, Shelby.
Furniture set and design supplied by Furniture Gallery, downtown Lloydminster.
Kim and Valerie join me today from the Lloydminster Men's Shelter. The Men's Shelter is putting on a charity golf event on July 14th at Rolling Greens. We're here to talk a little bit more about what's going on, why they're raising the money. So I'll give you two an opportunity to just talk a little bit about this event that's taking place on the 14th.
Next Friday, July 14th, we're having a golf tournament, our first annual. It's to benefit the men's shelter and the clients that we serve in the community. So providing shelter, housing, meals, other essentials, and events like this carry us year round. So our needs increase during the winter. This helps to do these summer events so that we have a little bit of storage for the winter months ahead.
Now, this is the first annual edition of this tournament. So how is the support going so far?
It's been wonderful. We have a title sponsor, and they're called Lycos Energy, and we have cart sponsors and some hole sponsors. We still have lots of room if other businesses or companies would like to sponsor, but so far we've had a wonderful reception to our tournament. So
yeah, the community has been terrific. We've got some silent auction items and some door prizes, and I think it's just going to be a great day of golf for the golfers.
Yeah, and that's a good thing about it is people can they're contributing to a good cause, but also have a good time at the same time. Can you guys talk a little bit? You were touching a little bit on why you need to raise the money, but I'm sure nowadays with life getting a little less affordable as we go throughout stuff, have you seen an increase in people needing your guys' services? I know that we're into the summer now, so it maybe has gone down a little bit, but talk a little bit about the need here in the community.
We noticed from last year to this year, our numbers. So for beds in the shelter, last year we had 5780 clients in beds, and this year we have 7,189 beds were filled. So that's a significant increase just in the number of men that we are housing in the shelter. And then our meals have gone up, an average of 1,000 meals a month last year. We're now at an average of 1,200 meals a month this year. So the numbers are climbing. The homeless population and the population of people at risk of homelessness here in Lloyd has increased dramatically. We're seeing a lot more people and new people coming from other communities where they're underserviced, and they know that they can come to us. We're supporting not only men who stay in the shelter, but also women who are homeless in our community.
Yeah, it really seems like you need to raise this funds now more than ever. For people out there in the community who are interested in taking part, maybe sponsoring some of the stuff that you still have available, where can they reach out to do so, or maybe just get some more information as well?
Well, they can call the shelter, of course, and they can also email the shelter. And the email is lloydminstermenshelter@gmail.com, but we have posters out advertising, and that does have a QR code, so they can go directly to the event page and they can sign up there or donate there for the tournament. And yeah, basically mostly call the shelter and we can get them set up.
Our number is 306-825-3977. And we're staffed around the clock, so any time of the day or evening, they can reach a staff member who can take a message or answer their questions.
And is there anything else that you're looking for when it comes to this event?
What we want people to know right now, we're just looking for golfers. So we're doing well with golfers, but we have lots of spots available. So it's going to be a great day. Come on out, put a team together or just come with a couple and enjoy the day of golfing. And everything, our registration starts at 8 o'clock and tee off is at 9:30. And then that's with a breakfast. Then lunch, we're going to serve lunch, and people are free and clear to go and enjoy the fair or to hit the lake by about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So we've done an early golf on purpose because we know that this is a really busy time of the year and we have lots of lake people in Lloydminster. So they still get to leave town or hit the fair nice and early and enjoy the rest of the day.
That's awesome. Love that planning that you guys put in there. Definitely people can make it an action-packed day on the 14th. So I wish you guys the best of luck. Hopefully there's some great weather for that as well. And thanks again for talking with me today.
Thank you
so much.
Ending off with another quick look at your 7-day forecast. We are expecting a warmer day tomorrow, 22 for our daytime high, a mixture of some sun and cloud. May see some hazy skies, we shall see, so please make sure you are being safe out there and having lots of water. Then past that, as we start off the Lloyd X Fair and Parade, we will be warming up to 24, so a beautiful day expected. Warming up even more on Thursday. We will have a scorcher that day. Make sure you got that sunscreen, and we will go back to those mid-20s for Friday as we head into the weekend, hopefully seeing some precipitation. We will be warming up starting off next week.
Fabulous. Thank you so much for that. Shelby, looks like some great weather for the fair. Very excited for that. That's all the time we have tonight for Primetime Local News. We'll be back here again tomorrow. Have a great night.